Hey guys, welcome back to our next course where we are talking about BlackArch. We're gonna show some tools specific for BlackArch. We're gonna show techniques for BlackArch, I mean for hacking techniques. BlackArch is basically a Linux based distro and basically it has all of the things that Kali has, but I think my opinion is that the BlackArch is kinda like more for advanced users. You have no desktop environment, so everything is configured harder, it's installed harder, it's made of for Linux gurus and pros. I know it looks great, and I know it's harder than Kali, and I know that sometimes this is really pointless because all the things you can do with Kali you can do with BlackArch as well, but BlackArch is kind of more like in-depth of the Linux core and kernel. So for that purpose guys, today we're gonna install Kali as a virtual machine, and I'm gonna teach you how to basically configure your Kali in order to look really nice with a nice theme, having a different desktop environment and having a BlackArch theme on Kali. So let's get started. I'm gonna be using VMware Workstation. If you use Oracle VirtualBox, really do not matter, it's all the same. So now if you are familiar with the procedure of basically installing Kali, you can skip that video to a part where I am basically installing themes and so on. But if you haven't installed a Kali Linux in your life or you don't know how, you can just follow me step by step, and the first step is to download the Kali image. So Kali Linux download. So click the original link right here, which is https://secure connection kali.org downloads, and choose Kali distribution right here. So here you can choose Kali Linux KDE, right? So we're gonna be working over KDE Plasma Desktop, but I'm suggesting installing the official GNOME one, the original one, because basically after we are done setting up all the themes and process, you're gonna end up having two Kali Linux the desktop environments, which both works pretty well, and basically do not really matter which one you use, you can just immediately switch from one to another really easy. If you install KDE, you're gonna be forced, so of course if you do not like that, you're gonna be forced to install GNOME desktop environment, so you can have that two sessions as well. But my suggestion, and it's easier and better for just installing the official one, a GNOME one, and therefore skip to the KDE one. So click here to download via HTTP or torrent, and you're gonna wait until your distribution is just downloaded, the image is downloaded. So not for case not to wait, I've already downloaded mine, so we don't need Chrome anymore. So I've downloaded mine under D drive, VMs, and we have BlackArch, download, sorry. So it's under downloads. I'm gonna copy that into another folder right here, which is gonna be called Kali. I'm gonna copy my image now. So in the BlackArch, of course, my BlackArch installation, BlackArch image. And here is the Kali one. It's always a good thing to keep yourself organized, right? Yeah, so it's almost there. Yep, so we have Kali Linux, the version 2090.2. Okay, so now I'm gonna open VMware Workstation here. I have already opened it. So here I'm just gonna go to File and actually go to Mac screen. Go to File, a new virtual machine. Now click typical next. Now we need to insert the image that we want to drain the resources for our VM. So VMs, Kali, and choose the image. Right, so now click next. Okay, so now go to other. If you do not basically see the operation system and the version, or you can go to Linux. And now let's go to Debian. You can go either to Debian or you can go to, let's say, other Linux kernel 3.exe3, do not matter, so just keep it a 64-bit. Actually I want yeah, the Linux kernel version 3, 64-bit. Next. Now here type Kali Linux, And now of course choose a directory where the virtual machine is going to be installed. So in that case, under D, VMs, now Kali, OK, and click next. Now we need to set up a storage for our Kali machine. Always make sure you have enough storage. So if I go to my PC, see I have 200 gigabytes free space. So always put your virtual machines where basically you have all of storage, because they are really independent and new operational systems, so you're gonna need storage with own files, own registers, and so on. So here I'm gonna set up a space like 40 gigabytes, or let's say, yeah, 40 is enough. Then you have an option for store virtual disk as a single file or multiple files. So the difference is here, I always stick to the multiple files. It's easier to move the virtual machine to one place or another, and basically it reduces performance of the large disks because it's split over disk, right? But it's easier to move. Really, if you're using a new high-speed performance or and performance machine, it really do not matter which one you choose. It's okay. So click next. Now go to customize hardware. Now boost up the RAM memory. Of course, make sure you have enough RAM memory, and how you can check how much memory you have. Go to this PC, right click, more properties, or you can show desktop with Windows key D. This PC, properties. Then I see I have 60 gigabytes of RAM, so I can freely just say 8 gigabytes for my Kali Linux machine. Now go to processors. I like to stick with 2 and 2, like 2 processors with 2 cores, and then I just leave that to automatic. Now go to network adapter, go to bridged, replace physical network adapter connection state. This is gonna provide us a local network like we are connected with a LAN cable inside. So yeah, that's the point of bridging. And then go to display, accelerate 3D graphics if your video card is okay. If it's good, just stick with that option. Now leave that as it is, and now click close. Then go to finish, and the operational system is now ready to install. Now click power this machine. Okay, just click OK. This is the keyboard warning about how to hook over and between different tabs of your operational system and your own one. Okay, so the phone device can connect to this virtual machine. Okay. Now click to graphical install, navigate to graphical install, and one quick thing that you have to keep in mind, the VMware, if you're using VMware Workstation, it's gonna prompt you out with some VM tools installation, and if you run VM tools while installing Kali Linux, you may break your installation and you need to repeat the process. So wait your Kali Linux to be fully installed, and then just basically install VM tools. We're gonna show you everything you need to know. So click continue, choose your region, then language, of course. Just wait a little bit to load everything from the CD or from the image we've basically printed out. So the installation is not the fastest process, but the Black Arch is really a lot slower, and installing a lot more tools. And in the same way, is having no desktop environment. Of course, you don't need desktop environment. You need only a terminal when we are talking about hacking or Linux overall. You can do programming only with the terminal. You can do hacking only with the terminal, and some tools like Burp, which Black Arch has. So hostname, you can define your hostname here, and basically the hostname, most of the hostname is gonna be shown when you are connected to a network. Your device is gonna have a hostname, and when you open a terminal, you're gonna have a hostname to your prompt. You're gonna see when we are finished with that process. So click continue, domain name if you have any. Now you have to specify the root password, and keep in mind that this password you must not forget, because if you forget the password, you basically need to reinstall the operational system. Yeah, so I'm gonna type mine, continue, and now again choose your time zone. Now we're into a partition state right here, and basically what we did is we basically separated our hard drive and said that we have 40 gigabytes just for that Kali Linux install. And now if I go to menu, the Kali Linux installation is gonna see only that 40 gigabytes. Yeah, as you see here. So it's not seeing anything beyond that. It's not seeing my real hard drive, it's not seeing anything. These 40 gigabytes are only for that virtual machine. So of course the option here is to click guide installation to all disks, but if you are doing that and you want to double boot, you may block your Windows or other OS installation if you go with all disk installation. So we've basically separated into a virtual drive which VMware is using, and my real hard drive which I'm using. So you have to make the difference. Now go back, click partition disk again, and now guided partitioning, use entire disk. So as I said, if you use that option and if you want a dual boot with some OS, you're gonna break the other OS. You're gonna erase all the disk and install Kali brand new. So now click continue. For most of the Linux distros have an option for dual booting. They are reading if you have any OS beyond that, and basically you are provided with an option to install alongside Windows 10 or other Linux. So all files in a partition. Of course you can play around with this option. They can just separate your files and your directories. So click continue. Now click finish changes and write changes to disk. Yes, I'm sure. And as you can see, swap memory was automatically allocated. And basically swap memory is a drive memory from your hard drive or your virtual hard drive. It does not really matter, it works quite the same. It's basically a physical space from your hard drive which is being used as a RAM memory if your RAM memory exceeds, or if a process requires a swap memory. Because there are processes which basically runs on the background and they do not want to basically use and arrange a RAM memory, so they can use a little bit of a swap memory and so on. And if you run out of RAM, your machine is gonna be basically using this swap memory in order to basically work normal. Yeah, it's slower than RAM, it's slower, but your machine is gonna work. Because if you run out of memory, like you have zero memory, your machine is gonna crash because the programs has nowhere to write, nowhere to read, everything is basically non-free. There's a high chance of you getting caught to a deadlock, which means requesting resources from a place which is requesting resources from you in the same time. So there can be some deadlocks appeared, and basically your machine is gonna most likely to crash if you run out of memory completely. You remember the boot screen of that on Windows? The main issue there is RAM memory. It's crashing from the RAM. So now the machine is being installing, and basically I'm gonna pause the video and I'll be right back when this thing is. So guys, now we are back. The first step for our installation is basically done. So here we have a usage of network mirror. So I need to take a few words about the mirror. What is it and why do you need to click yes here? So before the installation you have to make sure you have an internet connection, because during the installation the Linux is automatically draining resources and files from its repositories, and it's configuring its repositories. So by clicking using network mirror yes, we are automatically setting up our repositories for our Linux to work. If you click no repository file is going to be set up. The repository file is located in /etc/apt sources.list. So we have a file from where Linux have all repositories, and when we are calling the package manager, which means apt-get in our case, or pacman and so on, when we're calling the package manager, he's basically reading the file. It's reading the repository file, and it's draining that what we want from that repository stored in that file. So if that file has no repositories, the operating system is not going to install anything using your package manager. So you have to install any single dependency, any single package, which are billions of packages, manual, which is not the case. You sure can find these packages, but it's really time consuming and not worthy. So to avoid that, we're gonna go over and select a network mirror, which is gonna automatically create our repository file, import the repositories there, make a connection, and then resolve it during the installation. So click continue here. Now click just continue if you're not using any proxy. And as you can see, it's configuring the apt, which is our packet manager. And the packet manager of Kali, Debian, Mint, Ubuntu is being shared. It's all apt. So there is a way to basically install all the tools you need under Mint, under Ubuntu. So many people nowadays I see install some version of Ubuntu or Mint and just go there and download all the Kali tools they need. There are scripts even for that. I'm not sure if the script was not called Kali tools, something like that. But there is a script which basically adds a repository of Kali and basically install anything you need. So now we are at the part of group bootloader. So group is that thing of the Linux boot process when it's asking us to choose our operational system. That's all it does. So after the MBR does its job, you have to make it more clear, you can go ahead and read for Linux boot process. But one of the steps of that Linux boot process is the group bootloader, when it just shows all the operational system available and asks us to basically choose one, because you obviously cannot boot multiple operational systems simultaneously as a real one. You need some of which to be virtual. So here click install group on the master boot record, which is MBR. Yes. Now enter the device, and since we are working here with only one virtual hard drive, you're gonna see nothing else. Click continue. And also, since you are working with, as I said, virtual hard drive, you're gonna see nothing but Kali Linux installation. So the group is now installing, because if you make another virtual machine, it's gonna have another virtual disk drive just for itself. So no matter how much virtual machines you have, they're gonna see just their appearance there. So it's finalizing the installation. We are almost done with the Kali Linux installation up and running. So now I'm gonna pause the video again, and when everything is set up and done, I'm gonna repause the video and continue to the next steps. Okay guys, so our machine now has been rebooted, and now this is the group I was talking about. See GNU group. We have the version, and we have Kali Linux, GNU Linux, and we have advanced option for Kali GNU Linux. Now here are some options for recovery mode, checking the file system, making a RAM memory test, and here is just our operational system. So we want to boot, click enter, and if you don't move anything and leave it as default, it's gonna boot automatically after 5 seconds. Of course, all these options can be configured. You can configure the background image, you can configure number of seconds to wait before boot. Basically, that's the cool thing about the Linux, you can do whatever the heck you want. Click enter. Now our machine is being booted. As you can see, it's checking the file systems on the FSDA, clean, number of files, blocks. It's starting all the drivers is needed now. And after a few seconds, we should get a graphical user interface. Yeah, we have the mouse, there it is. Wait a little bit more. I'm gonna go X here. And now this is the Kali default login window. So we have to put our username here, and I want to make a note of a few things. So basically here we've set up, during the installation, we've set up a root user, right? So we have a user root. But basically it's not always a good practice to actually run as a root. Actually, you need to capsulate your machine in order to run as a root, and I'm going to explain how I mean just by now. Type your password. Sorry. So now we have a root user. The root user basically can do everything. The root user can delete the system using one command. The root user can install things. The root user can do anything without asking for permission. So if you are not sure what you are doing, you may end up having a bad time with your operational system. You can inject a virus. You can navigate to a web browser that basically uses bad cookies or malicious JavaScript, so-called cross-site scripting injection attacks. Basically, running root is dangerous. Running root with the file manager is dangerous, and I'm guessing if I open the file manager, it's gonna say that it's dangerous. No, okay. So now, some distros do say that. So the good practice is always, and what I mean by always stick with another user. So basically I'm gonna go here, settings. I'm gonna go to, actually type user here, see users, and now add the user. So the user can be standard or administrator, and it's gonna need a sudo password in order to install things and basically perform actions that can compromise the machine. The point here is that when you are not root and you go in some malicious actions like execute and downloading a file, which can be potential virus, you can be needing some permissions in order to basically execute that file. So that's why we have so much permission, so much users in a huge Linux server. But when we're talking about penetration testing, and even when we're talking about virtual machine, it's good to have root user only, because we are running a virtual machine. This cannot harm anything beyond that. If a malware stacks in and destroys anything, we're gonna get harm only that 40 gigabytes that we've basically separated for virtual machine. That's the good thing about VMs, because they capsulate your system, and if everything bad happens with that, we can only harm the machine itself. So we don't really need to set up so much permissions. But let's say, for example, if you're running a real machine, not a virtual one, it's always better to stick with a different user. If you're running a Linux server, it's always good to not use a root by any case. It's always better to run sudo as a normal user than to run root, because root can't do anything without permissions, but a normal user needs permissions for any action it takes. So here you just need to type the full name, the username, the password, or you can allow the user to set a password when they log in. So that's all you have to do. And instead of typing root in the main screen, you're just gonna type, let's say, a user or the name of your user. So the first thing that we have to do is basically go to options again. Of course, change the resolution because it's bad. Go to display, I think devices, display, and here change the resolution that suits for you. And in my case, it's gonna be like that. Apply, keep changes. So see, now everything is being okay. I see everything, the resolution here is okay. So there is one problem that can occur. If you are using a resolution which is 192.680.1080, basically you just need to make a manual configuration of Xrandr. So I'm gonna just point you to a nice forum when there are instructions for that resolution bug where virtual machines are having. And this bug occurs only with virtual machines, so you don't have to worry about it when you're restarting it as a real one. So just click here, go to google.com and search for, change in English of course, and go for basically so click the forum of Ubuntu. Of course, as I said, the steps are quite the same since they share even the package manager, but that's really not the case. So here there are some options when upon running is gonna set you to resolution of 1920x1080. So just run that options. Therefore you can make a script and force that script to be run as a bootable as the machine boots. So every time it boots, bam, you get that full resolution. Okay, so I'm gonna close that for now. Now I'm gonna open a terminal. I'm gonna show you the packet managers and the repositories. So here I have to go to cd app etc apt, and now I have sources.list. So if I cat that file, cat is a program for showing the content of the file on the terminal. So cat sources.list, and see I have the dep cd-rom, we have dep cd-rom, we have dep http, so we have the repository installed. And the very first thing that we need to do basically after installing a Kavik machine is to run an update. So I'm gonna see to my home directory. When you type cd, you're gonna get to your home directory. So I'm gonna type apt-get update, and as I told you before, I don't need any sudo options here because I am root and I can do whatever the heck I want. So update. Now change that to upgrade. You can use tab to autofill sentences and commands. Yes, of course, and now the machine is gonna get updated. So guys, now we have a running Kali Linux machine. After that, after this update, I'm basically going to show how to install VM tools, and this is quite an easy procedure. Just go to view, I guess it was VM, go to install VM tools, install, and now something should pop up like mounting, yeah, open with files. So we have mounted a VM tool. So now here, open a terminal, go just copy that tar archive. So cp VMware tools into our root one, our home one, sorry. So I'm gonna cd my home directory. I'm gonna basically tar zxvf VMware, and now everything is being extracted. So now I have folder VMware tools. Go inside and just go with file, actually cat install, to see the instructions. So installing, scroll down, installing, upgrading VMware install.pl. So I'm gonna list that again, and VMware install.pl. So by running that, the VM tools is gonna get installed. So now click, just stick with the default options. It knows what to refer. So if you're not that advanced on the level of Black Arch, just click all the default options. It's good to go. It's initializing, so you can see it's compiling something on C. So mainly Linux is made on C. These tools again have some C programs inside, and this is the result of compiling them. Always there are some warnings and errors, so don't worry about it. So yes, just stick with the default options. And after a minute or two, it's gonna be ready and up and running. So I'll remove the pinpoint here. Okay, now minimize that. Go to the next terminal, see what's happening over there. Enjoy VMware team. So everything is being installed, and it's automatically ejected that media CD-ROM 0. So close the terminal, open the new one, the previous one, sorry. So you see the update is going on. So guys, basically you have to run the update. You have to always run the update because this is crucial. Always run the update. Therefore, install VM tools when you're installing that as virtual machine. Set up your resolution script if you are basically having troubles with. If you have any troubles with that resolution, and therefore we are ready to move into the next part of that tutorial, and this is basically configuring the Kali Linux to look like a Black Arch, installing Teams, make it a gorgeous one. So I'm gonna pause until all the updates are done. You don't have to need to do anything while this is updating. After the updates are done, just reboot your machine with the command reboot, or you can follow the options right here. Press Q, of course. You can follow the instructions if there's any. So you can stick with the options here, click that and then reboot. So no, just stick with the default options. Wherever it says, just click enter, yes, no. Click with the default options and we are okay and good to go. So the update is going, and I'm gonna stop the video, guys, and see you in the next one, when we're going to talk about Linux configuration, installing different desktop environments, and so on. So thank you for watching and see you in the next video, guys.